demon time. Kaylin's on demon time, bro. Oh, yes, she is. She's coming for blood. She's coming for blood. I don't know if the Fever is going to win another damn game without Caitlin Clark.
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
What happens when a coach fails to ride the only hot hand in a blowout loss? Let's break down the disastrous night the Indiana Fever would rather forget. And honestly, it's almost impossible to believe this was the same team that started the season with so much promise.
Sophie Cunningham was the only player trying hard. The only player giving effort, play in and play out.
Imagine walking out of a game so enraged you're plotting revenge plays in your head. That's exactly what happened with Caitlin Clark. After the Indiana Fever suffered a humiliating 95-60 defeat at the hands of the Phoenix Mercury, Clark stormed off the court, leaving a trail of fury in her wake.
The storyline of tonight's game, even though we lost, I don't want everybody holding their head down. No, we lost. We have to talk about Sophie Cunningham getting that ball.
You could practically feel the heat coming off her. She had that look in her eyes, the one that says, if I had a sword right now, I'd be using it. Clark wasn't just frustrated, she was boiling over with rage. You could see the wheels turning in her head, and trust me, she wasn't thinking about how to improve next time, she was already planning how to destroy whoever dared cross her again.
And all other people that has been saying, and verbatimly saying, that the Indiana Fever is better without Caitlin Clark, I need y'all to look in the mirror and please let me know if you feel that same way after seeing this tonight.
And of course, her fiery exit came after one of the worst losses in Fever history, the kind of loss where fans are left scratching their heads wondering how things could go so wrong. But the real kicker, this wasn't just another bad game. This was an absolute demolition.
We lost to the Valkyrie earlier in the season, 80-61, and tonight against the Phoenix Mercury, we lose 95-60.
The Fever lost 95-60, their worst loss of the season. And that's saying something considering their previous embarrassing defeats. The 77-58 loss to the Dream and the 80-61 shellacking by the Valkyries are now mere footnotes in this disaster.
Tawana Bonner just got done doing your team absolutely dirty. You guys escape with a victory when they come to Indiana, and you wipe your hands of it like it's all over and finished with. No, it goes both ways.
Let's break this down because the numbers don't lie. 95-60. That's the final score. But it's not just the score that's jaw-dropping, it's the story those numbers tell. The Fever's shooting percentage, a disastrous 34% from the field. They couldn't hit a shot if their lives depended on it. From three-point range, they shot a laughable 23%, a total of 7 out of 30. And let's not forget the free throws, just 53% on only 13 attempts. That's a whole lot of missed opportunities, especially when those are supposed to be free points.
Last game, when Sophie Cunningham wasn't getting the ball, guess what happened when they passed Sophie Cunningham the ball? She scored 18 damn points in 26 minutes.
In a game where every single point matters, missing nearly half of your free throws is a blatant sign of not caring. And here's where it gets even more humiliating. Phoenix, on the other hand, was on fire. Alyssa Thomas was rewriting the WNBA record book, becoming the first player in league history to record 3 straight triple-doubles.
The most embarrassing loss of the season for the Indiana Fever.
Dana Bonner, she was out there like she had something to prove, scoring 23 points on 7 of 16 shooting while the Fever just watched. It wasn't just that Indiana lost, they made losing look like an art form. Phoenix was playing like they were in a skills showcase, and the Fever were just props.
I mean, it sucks, right? You don't ever want to see anyone be injured on any team. I feel like there's been a lot of injuries this year in the W, harsh ones, I think. And, it's just another one. And Sid is still the heartbeat of our team. She's going to be okay.
And then there's Sophie Cunningham, the one player who actually seemed to care. Back in her old home arena, she was putting in work while the rest of her teammates looked like they had no idea what was going on. Cunningham finished with 18 points, shooting an impressive 62.5% from the field and going 5 for 8 from deep. But here's the kicker. She was the only Fever player to show any fight. She played with an edge, jawing with Alyssa Thomas, Dana Bonner, and even Kalia Copper. She didn't just show up to play, she showed up to win.
I think we faced some adversity with some injuries this game, but you know what? We're used to that. We've had that at the beginning of the year. This is just another hump that we're going to get over, and we're gonna be okay.
And yet, Despite being the only Fever player doing anything right, Sophie got benched at the start of the second half. Why? In favor of Lexi Hull. Yes, Lexi Hull, the same player who went 0 for 8 from three-point range. 0. Sophie was knocking down shots like she was born to shoot, but somehow the coach decided Hull deserved the minutes. I don't know who made that call, but it's hard to call that anything but a disaster. Sophie was the only one keeping the team alive, and yet she was sidelined. That's not just poor decision-making, it's borderline negligence.
Aaliyah Boston, 4 points in 26 minutes, 1 for 6 from the field. We're talking about baby hooks. We're talking about gimmies with around 3 feet of the basket.
Benching the only hot hand? Starting Lexi Hall, who couldn't buy a bucket if she had Jeff Bezos' bank account? It's like pulling a winning horse for a donkey. It's one of those decisions that leaves you scratching your head, asking, did that just happen?
I think it affects emotionally because nobody wants to see a teammate go down like that. But also, on the floor, that's another point guard, a primary ball handler, someone who is a big part of our rotation on both ends of the floor. And
then there's the matter of Kelsey Mitchell, who played the entire fourth quarter of a game where her team was down by over 30 points. Why was Mitchell, who had been struggling all night, 4 of 17 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3, kept in the game? The Fever were getting blown out, yet Mitchell stayed on the floor, showing no signs of helping her team. Meanwhile, Cunningham, the only player producing, was stuck on the bench.
This game meant just as much to Sophie Cunningham as it did to the Indiana Fever when DeWanna Bonner made her return. The only difference is nobody on the Indiana Fever had Sophie Cunningham's back.
This is what happens when a coach can't seem to make adjustments, when they're so stubborn they refuse to see what's working. If you're keeping a player in the game just to prove a point, you're not coaching, you're just wasting time.
You don't care. You literally left your teammate hung out to dry tonight.
Let's talk about defense and rebounding, because if you can't do these basics right, you're not going to win anything. Phoenix grabbed 44 rebounds and the Fever only 32.
Let's talk about the hometown hero. Sophie Cunningham, 18 points, 5 assists, shooting 66% from the field.
This wasn't a fluke. It was a systematic failure. The Fever had the tallest player on the court, but still couldn't box out, couldn't grab the boards, and couldn't stop Phoenix from doing whatever they wanted. It's like showing up to a buffet as the hungriest person in the room and somehow leaving hungry because you couldn't be bothered to get in line.
Finna what? You didn't have your team ready tonight? From a mental standpoint, from a game plan standpoint, does anybody do you guys practice? Do you guys watch film? I don't understand.
Indiana's defense was non-existent. They handed Phoenix 42 points from turnovers and second chance opportunities. 42. That's nearly half of Phoenix's total score coming from Indiana's own mistakes. This isn't just bad. This is a collapse of effort, focus, and basic basketball principles.
I need somebody to make that make sense for me. 12 assists as a team. 22 total turnovers. 12 assists and 22 turnovers.
When you've got Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell underperforming, that's a signal that something's deeply wrong.
I can't with these losses. Tonight loss was ridiculous, guys. Just downright ignorant. This was a downright ignorant loss.
Aaliyah Boston, a player who should have been dominating inside, finished with only 4 points on 1 of 6 shooting. Those weren't contested fadeaways we're talking about. These were easy looks, bunny shots in the paint that she missed. How does that happen?
Started the second half, Sophie Cunningham on the bench. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And then you've got Kelsey Mitchell, who I've defended in the past, but this game, she was horrendous. 12 points on 4 of 17 shooting, 1 of 6 from three-point range, 5 turnovers, and a -39 on the box score. That's not just a bad game. That's a full-on disaster. When your star players can't show up, it's hard to win. And when your coach doesn't make the right decisions, you're destined to fail.
DeWanna Bonner scores over 20 points. Sophie Cunningham making her return to Phoenix. And it seems as if nobody on our team other than Sophie Cunningham felt any type of emotional connection to this game.
This wasn't just about talent. This was about a lack of effort, a lack of fight. The Fever were mentally checked out. When you're getting outplayed this badly, it's not just a talent issue, it's an attitude problem. From the first quarter, you could see that something was missing. There was no energy, no intensity. At times, it felt like the Fever weren't even trying to compete. This wasn't a team, this was a group of individuals who had already thrown in the towel. You saw it on the court, the lack of urgency, the hesitation, the lack of ball movement. It wasn't just a bad night, it was a full-on collapse of team spirit.
Sid, who else? Who else was hurt? Sophie was hurt. This looked like June again.
If this is how the Fever are going to play under Stephanie White, then when Clark returns, the pressure on White will be insurmountable. Clark is coming back. And if the Fever keep playing like this, the spotlight is going to be on White and her decisions. Fans are already frustrated. And if the team doesn't turn things around soon, those uncomfortable conversations in boardrooms will start. White's future could be in serious jeopardy if she can't get this team back on track. You can't keep making the same mistakes and expect to survive.
Look like the Indiana Fever could be signing another player. Basically, another hardship player could be on the way. Sydney Colson hurt. Ari McDonald hurt. Now we got to see who's available again at the point guard position. Again,
This wasn't just a loss. It wasn't even just embarrassing. It was a glaring, neon-lit example of everything that's wrong with the Indiana Fever right now. From the lack of defensive fundamentals, to the baffling in-game decisions, to the visible disengagement from key players, it all added up to a catastrophic failure. And the worst part, it's hard to see how this team can recover unless something drastic changes. The pressure on White is mounting, and with Clark's return looming, things are only going to get harder. So, can they turn it around? Or is this the end of the road for this underachieving team? Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep uncovering the stories they don't want you to hear.